Hey, welcome to D2 on Go Sports. I'm Easton Durant, and today's episode we'll be talking about the NBA news and MLB news. Breaking news: Kevin Durant has declined his $31.5 million player option and will become an unrestricted free agent. Durant can sign a 4-year, $164 million deal with another team and remains eligible for a $221 million deal with the Warriors. Durant suffered a torn Achilles tendon in Game 5 of the Finals on June 10th and is expected to need the 2019-2020 season to fully rehabilitate this injury. Every team pursuing him is expected to still offer him a max contract, which you would have to do for one of the greatest players in the NBA right now. You would have to offer him that. You just eat up this year's salary because it's fine. It's Kevin Durant. Now, the Rockets are planning to recruit Jimmy Butler to push the 76ers for a sign-and-trade deal that would allow him to join James Harden, Chris Paul, and Houston. The Rockets don't have the salary cap space to sign Butler, so they need the threat of the Sixers losing him for nothing to a team with the available room to motivate Philadelphia into a trade. The Rockets would also potentially need to make this a multi-team deal to satisfy the rules of base year compensation that would cover Butler's salary. The Sixers plan to be aggressive in signing Butler to a new deal. They could offer him a full. The Rockets could offer him a full 5-year, $190 million offer at the start of free agency on Sunday night. The Sixers could offer a Butler 4-year, $146.5 million deal too. Butler would have to be eligible to sign a 4-year, $140 million contract on the way to the Rockets, but Houston would likely need to include these players in the trade: Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, and PJ Tucker. The Rockets offered Minnesota 4 future first-round picks for Butler before the Timberwolves agreed to the trade with Philadelphia. In a potential trade with Houston, the Sixers could turn Butler into a large trade exception and redirect the Rockets' assets to additional teams. If the Sixers were to lose Butler in free agency and were in position to keep Harris and Redick, it is possible they could simply want the payroll flexibility and dismiss the potential idea of a sign-and-trade scenario for Butler. Now, excuse me, I don't know how to say his name, but it's Masahi Orji said he's staying in Toronto to help with the team he helped build into NBA champions. Orji made the announcement to reporters during his season-ending media availability Tuesday. He said, "I love it here. My family loves it here. My wife loves it here, which is very important. My kids are Canadian. You want to win more. In my mind, I'm here." Earlier this month, league sources said that Washington Wizards were preparing to offer Orji a deal approaching $10 million annually with an opportunity for ownership equity. He has 2 years left on his contract. He is the architect of the first championship in Raptors history. He also helped to build the Denver Nuggets into a contender. Orji will now focus on retaining NBA Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, who is expected to opt out of his final year of his contract and become an unrestricted free agent. Orji said he texted with Leonard as recently as Monday night and talked to Leonard's uncle and advisor. Early on Tuesday, Orji said he is confident Leonard will decide to return to Toronto. He said, "We'll wait. He is our player, and he is our superstar on our team, and we'll wait on that." Orji stressed the main selling points of his pitch to Leonard: health, trust, and success. He said, "I said we have to be ourselves, and we were ourselves for the whole year. I think he saw that. I think we built trust here. I believe winning a championship, him seeing who we are, working with his medical staff and combined with our medical staff and getting him where he wanted to be." Marc Gasol also has a player option for next year's green as a free agent. He said, "I think," Orji said about Kawhi Leonard, "I think that they would know the effect of Kawhi's decision is, but we're really approaching is like we want to bring everyone back on this team. That's a priority for us. Danny Green is a free agent, and Marc Gasol has a player option for next year. And less urgent is a potential extension for Pascal Siakam, winner of the NBA's Most Improved Player Award. Orji said about him, "Pascal has gotten to a place where he's definitely a priority for us, and it's definitely going to be a conversation we'll have." Moving on to the next thing, the NBA season is having talks in fewer games, an in-season cup. I don't know. On June 17th, conference call between a committee that consists of approximately a dozen top team executives from both basketball and business operations discussed with league office ideas for alternatives to the traditional NBA season for the 2022 season. 2021-2022 season. In what sources characterize as a wide-ranging brainstorm session with accompanying documents, participants contemplated how the NBA could introduce the formidable tournament as well as an abbreviated slate of regular season games to accommodate the additional events. According to those with knowledge of the conversation, which sources regard as very exploratory, the proposed reforms would adopt initially as a pilot program. The NBA would have the chance to observe the trial run and evaluate the long-term viability of such a schedule design. In the length density of this current 82-game NBA schedule has come over scrutiny over the recent years because superstars such as Kawhi Leonard routinely sit out regular season games to preserve their body for the NBA's 9-week playoff run. But between the load management, everything, I just don't get it because I feel like players would be like records would become nothing, and players would be like, "Oh, I could have set the 3-point record. We could have set the win. We could have had the most wins in NBA history if we had that schedule." It'll make players be like, "Oh, I could have beat him in MVP if I had the 23 games, 30 games, whatever it was left." Moving on to MLB, Aaron Boone said that the results of MRI on Giancarlo Stanton were good. He said he came in today and there was no swelling in there, but he's sore and stiff. He's just kind of going through treatment right now. Stanton left the Yankees' victory on Tuesday night against the Toronto Blue Jays with a bruised knee. He's not in the lineup for today's game against the Blue Jays, but he is listed as an available player on the bench. Stanton is batting .290 this season in 9 games for the Yankees. He came off the injured list on June 18th after being shelved since April because of 3 separate injuries. The New York Yankees now have the record for most games consecutive with a home run, which is 28th. Two surprise players. Well, not really. The second isn't really a surprise, but the first is T.J. LeMahieu has been really good ever since the streak began. He's hitting .333 with 11 home runs and 52 RBIs in 73 games. Gary Sanchez is hitting .268 with 23 home runs and 52 RBIs in 59. Sanchez is a candidate for Rookie of the Year. MVP. How would he be Rookie of the Year? I don't know. A candidate for Rookie of the Year because Mike Trout has almost the same numbers, and he's being considered for MVP in All-Star game. Well, thanks for listening to E21 Go Sports. As always, make sure to like and subscribe and listen to our podcast. Thank you.